What if I told you that a single plate of food could change someone's entire life? That a question as simple as, "Can I clean your house for a plate of food?" could open the door to a story of heartbreak, destiny, and redemption. Before we dive in, take a second to like this video and subscribe, because what you're about to hear is not just a story. It's a journey that will stay with you long after the screen fades to black. It was a rainy evening when Emily, a young woman in her mid-20s, walked down the wealthy district of the city. Her clothes were thin, clinging to her body from the storm, her shoes torn, and her eyes carrying the weight of endless nights without rest. She hadn't eaten a proper meal in days. Hunger gnawed at her stomach so violently that every step felt heavier than the last. She didn't want to beg, didn't want pity. She just wanted a chance. That's why, when she saw the tall gates of a mansion standing like a castle against the storm, she gathered every ounce of courage she had left, pushed the golden buzzer, and waited. The door opened, and there stood Daniel Cross, a man everyone in the city knew. A millionaire, young, handsome, cold to the world but adored by it nonetheless. His empire stretched across industries, but so did the rumors that he had a heart as frozen as the winter wind. When he looked at Emily, drenched and shivering, he almost dismissed her instantly. But then she spoke, her voice trembling yet dignified. "Please, sir, can I clean your house for a plate of food?" Daniel froze. He didn't understand why her face shook him so deeply. It wasn't just the desperation in her eyes. It was familiarity. Something in her gaze tore through the armor he'd built over years of success and loneliness. He asked her name, and when she whispered, "Emily," his chest tightened. He hadn't heard that name in years. Memories of his childhood flooded back. Of a small neighborhood, a girl with the same kind eyes who used to share her sandwich with him when he had nothing. Could it be the same Emily? But Daniel wasn't a man who believed in coincidences. He thought maybe hunger and rain were making him imagine things. Still, something inside told him not to turn her away. So instead of slamming the door, he let her in. The warmth of the mansion wrapped around Emily, but shame quickly followed. She looked at the marble floors, the glittering chandeliers, the grand piano in the corner, and whispered again, "Please, let me earn it. I don't want charity. I'll clean anything." Her words broke something in Daniel. He could have ordered a dozen maids to scrub every inch of the house spotless. Yet here was this fragile young woman, soaked to the bone, willing to trade her pride for a single plate of food. He nodded and asked the chef to prepare a meal, but he also handed her a towel and fresh clothes. Emily's eyes filled with tears as she changed, not just from gratitude, but from the painful reminder of how far life had dragged her down. As she ate that first warm bite, Daniel watched her in silence. For the first time in years, he wasn't thinking about business meetings or profit margins. He was remembering hunger, pain, and the way kindness once saved him. Slowly, Emily opened up. She told him about her mother's passing, her father's debt, and how she'd been working odd jobs until sickness took it all away. She didn't complain. She didn't blame. She just told her truth, her voice steady even as her eyes shimmered with unspoken grief. Daniel felt something stir inside him, a mixture of guilt and admiration. He had everything, yet he'd forgotten what it felt like to struggle. He realized then why her face had shaken him. She wasn't just a stranger. She was a mirror of the boy he once was, the one who had knocked on doors hoping someone would show him mercy. Over the next days, Emily returned. At first, she insisted on working, cleaning, dusting, organizing, her way of keeping her dignity intact. Daniel let her, but he also began to ask her questions. Soon, their conversations grew longer than the task she came to do. He found himself drawn to her resilience, her warmth, her unbreakable spirit despite the storms she had endured. And Emily, though cautious, began to see something beyond his cold reputation. She saw the boy who had once been hungry too, the man who carried invisible scars. But stories like these are never simple. One evening, Daniel's business partner visited and saw Emily cleaning. He scoffed and whispered cruel words, calling her just another beggar, trying to take advantage of wealth. Emily heard, and though Daniel defended her fiercely, the sting cut deep. That night, she didn't return. Daniel searched the city restless, realizing how much he needed to tell her the truth, that she wasn't just a stranger, but the girl who had once given him kindness when he had nothing. When he finally found her, sitting near the same bus stop where she'd first arrived in the city, he told her everything. About the little boy she'd once fed with her sandwich, about the way her name had been carved into his memory all these years, about how she had unknowingly saved him once and was saving him again now. Tears rolled down Emily's cheeks. She had never imagined that a small act of kindness in childhood could echo back to her in such a powerful way. Daniel reached for her hand and said, "You asked me if you could clean my house for food. Emily, I don't want you to clean my house. I want you to share it with me." The story didn't end there. It was only the beginning. Emily found not just shelter but a partner who valued her strength and heart. Daniel found not just gratitude but love that thawed the frozen corners of his soul. Together, they built something no wealth could buy, a bond forged in hunger, kindness, and destiny. And that, dear friends, is why you should never underestimate the power of compassion. A plate of food can change everything. A small act of kindness can echo across years and bring two lost souls together again. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like these remind us that no matter how dark the storm, kindness will always light the way home.